My mom and her new husband took my stepsister on a big shopping trip, leaving me with nothing before they left. She smirked at me and said, "You're lucky we even let you stay here." I just nodded and stayed quiet. By the time they got back, I had changed the locks, and their names were no longer on the house. When I was 17, my mom married Mark. We lived in a 3-bedroom house in Atlanta that my dad left to me when he passed away. It wasn't a huge house, but it was mine, at least legally, since I was still underage. My mom had control of it for the time being. Then Mark and his daughter, Ava, moved in. My mom fell for Mark quickly, and he acted like the house was his from day one. Ava, who was a year younger than me, was spoiled and always wanted expensive things. Meanwhile, I worked, saved my money, and didn't expect anyone to give me anything. At first, my mom just favored Ava in small ways, giving her the best food and the bigger bedroom, but over time, it got worse. If I needed something for school, my mom suddenly had no money, but the next day, Ava would have a new dress. I didn't say anything, I was used to looking after myself. Then, the final straw, one morning, my mom announced they were going shopping, just for Ava. As they were leaving, Ava smirked and said, "You're lucky we let you stay here." I had been patient for too long, but that morning, something inside me snapped. What they didn't know was that I had already talked to a lawyer. The house legally belonged to me. My mom had only been in charge because I was a minor, but now I was 18, so I made a phone call. When they got home, the locks were changed. They had bags full of expensive clothes, but my mom's key didn't work. She knocked hard, and I opened the door just a little. "Can I help you?" I asked. My mom's face turned red. "What's going on?" I held up a piece of paper, an eviction notice. "You're trespassing." Mark tried to push the door open. "Let us in now." I stood my ground. "This house is mine. You don't live here anymore." Ava's eyes filled with tears. "Where are we supposed to go?" I shrugged. "Not my problem." My mom threatened to call the police, so I gave her my lawyer's card. "Go ahead," I said. "They'll just make you leave faster." Mark shouted at me. My mom looked like she might cry, and Ava just stood there, shocked. They had nowhere to go. Mark had sold his house months ago to pay debts, and my mom had spent all her money on Ava. I shut the door, feeling free for the first time in years. The aftermath. They stood outside for a while. My mom made calls, probably to the police. Ava was probably posting a sob story online. I wasn't worried, I had done everything legally. 15 minutes later, a police car arrived. 2 officers came to the door. "Your mom says you locked her out," one said. I gave them my paperwork. "This house is mine. My dad left it to me. They were only living here because I was underage, but now I've legally evicted them." The officer checked the papers, then turned to my mom. "She's right, you have to leave." My mom's face went pale. "But, I'm her mother." The officer shook his head. "Doesn't matter, the law is the law." Mark started shouting, calling me spoiled. Ava cried about not having a place to charge her phone. I just watched them fall apart. Eventually, the police made them leave. They drove away with all their shopping bags. I locked the door and took a deep breath. For the first time in years, I was alone in my house. That night, I slept better than ever. But the trouble wasn't over. The next morning, my phone was full of angry messages. My mom had told everyone I had thrown her out. People insulted me, but I ignored it. Let them talk, I had my home back. Then, late at night, I heard a noise downstairs, a scraping sound, then a soft click. My heart pounded. I sat up, listening. Footsteps. Someone was in the house. I grabbed my phone and called 911. I didn't hesitate. My heart was racing as I sneaked out of my room. I peeked over the railing and saw Mark in the living room, trying to unlock the back door. He must have come in through the window since I forgot to check if it was locked. I could hear Ava outside, telling him, "Dad, hurry up." I quickly called 911. 911, what's your emergency? The dispatcher asked. There's someone in my house, I whispered. He's broken in. Are you safe? The dispatcher asked. I'm upstairs, I said. The dispatcher stayed with me as the sound of sirens got louder. Mark must have heard them too, because he cursed and tried to climb out the window. A minute later, the police arrived and caught him trying to escape. Mark was arrested for breaking and entering. My mom showed up at the station, screaming that I was ruining their lives. Ava posted a crying selfie about how people don't appreciate family anymore, but the damage was done. Mark now had a criminal record. With my lawyer's help, I filed a restraining order against Mark and sued him for emotional distress and damages. They thought they could walk all over me, but they were about to find out how wrong they were. Ava's revenge. Things were quiet for a few weeks. Mark was facing charges, and my mom was too distracted to bother me. Then Ava decided to get revenge. One morning, I woke up to find my car covered in bright red spray paint. Bitterby ***** was written across the hood. I stared at it, tired, not even angry. I checked the security footage. There was Ava, dressed in black, sneaking up in the middle of the night with a spray paint can. She was careless, she left footprints and even dropped her phone. I picked it up and smiled. I handed the evidence to the police, and Ava was arrested for vandalism. My mom begged me not to press charges. "I'm your mother," she said. I looked her in the eye and replied, "You should have acted like one." Ava cried in court. Mark was already drowning in legal fees, and my mom finally realized she had lost everything, but I wasn't done. The family feud goes public. After Ava's arrest, I thought things would calm down. I was wrong. My mom wasn't the type to face the consequences. Instead, she went public with her story. She started a GoFundMe, and I found out when a classmate sent me a link titled, "Help a Homeless Mother and Her Poor Daughter Recover from Betrayal." I almost laughed. My mom wrote a sad story about how she sacrificed everything for me, only for me to throw her and Mark out. She left out the part where they spent thousands on designer bags while I was stuck in the smallest room. She also left out the breaking and entering and the vandalism, not to mention the fact that the house was mine all along. But her story worked. Strangers started donating, then her old friends and distant relatives joined in. Even people I hadn't heard from in years started messaging me, saying, "You should be ashamed, how could you do this to your own mother?" I couldn't ignore it anymore. My mom and Mark had raised $15,000 in a week through their GoFundMe scam, telling everyone how I had betrayed them. I was furious. They had scammed strangers with a sob story, and I wasn't going to let that slide. The GoFundMe takedown. I took screenshots of everything, the page, the fake comments, my mom's messages, and sent it all to GoFundMe's fraud department. I included the police reports, restraining order, lawsuit papers, and security footage of Mark breaking in and Ava vandalizing my car. I didn't stop there. I posted everything on social media. People started questioning it, demanding refunds, and reporting the page. 2 days later, it was shut down, and since they hadn't withdrawn the money, they lost all of it. The mysterious CPS call. After the GoFundMe mess, my mom went silent. Then, one day, Child Protective Services showed up at my door, saying they had received an anonymous tip about a 17-year-old living in an unsafe environment. I showed them everything, my house deed, lawyer's papers, even my college acceptance letter. The CPS worker apologized and left. It was clear someone was still trying to make my life miserable. Ava's last desperate move. A week later, I got a call from Ava. She was scared and begged me for help. She said her dad, Mark, owed money to dangerous people who were threatening them. They wanted $30,000 by Friday, or they would come after him. Ava was terrified, and for the first time, I heard real fear in her voice. The confrontation. I drove to the motel where Ava was hiding. When I got there, Mark was already furious. He didn't want me there, but I wasn't backing down. I asked how much he owed, and Ava said $30,000. He admitted he didn't have it. Then Ava told me that the people after him were coming for all of them if he didn't pay. Ava's voice shook as she said, "If he doesn't pay, they're coming for all of us." For the first time, I saw Mark scared. He wasn't the monster I thought he was. He was just a pathetic man who had dug his own grave. I turned to Ava and gave her a choice: stay with them and be dragged down, or leave them behind. Ava, finally seeing the truth, chose to walk away from Mark and my mom. She got in the car with me without looking back. A week later, we found out Mark had skipped town, leaving my mom to clean up the mess. She called me, begging and crying, but I didn't answer. She had made her choice. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more great stories. Don't forget to tap the notification bell, so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. See you next time, and take care.